Hello guys, welcome to another episode of Juice 007 Entertainment. Today we're going to be talking about Darlie Leanne Peck Routier, a mother that allegedly killed two of her sons. I'm going to start you guys off right here, so pay attention. Darlie Leanne Peck Routier, born January 4th, 1970, is an American woman from Routier, Texas, who was convicted and sentenced to death for the murder of her 5-year-old son Damon in 1996. She also been charged with capital murder and the death of her 6-year-old Devin, who was murdered at the same time as Damon. To date, Routier has not been tried for Devin's murder. Damon and Devin were stabbed to death with a large kitchen knife at Routier's home. I hope I'm saying her name right. While Routier sustained knife wounds to her throat and arm, Routier told authorities that the crime was perpetrated by an unidentified intruder. During a trial, the prosecution argued that Routier's injuries were self-inflicted, that the crime scene had been staged, and that she murdered her sons because of the family's financial difficulties. The defense argued that there was no reason Routier would have killed her children, and that the case did not have a motive, a confession, or any witnesses. In February 1997, the jury found Routier guilty of the murder of Damon and sentenced her to death by lethal injection. Two appeals filed by Routier, who maintains her innocence, based on allegations during the trial were denied. Since at least 2018, DNA tests have been ordered multiple times after technology has advanced. As of 2024, the results of the tests are still pending. Routier's case has been the subject of multiple books and television shows. Routier's ex-husband believes that she is innocent. Now, okay guys, this is going to get a little crazier, so pay attention. On June 6, 1996, at 2:30 a.m., 911 dispatchers in Routier, Texas received a call from Routier's residence at 5801 Eagle Drive. Routier told the operator that her home had been broken into and that an intruder had stabbed her children, 6-year-old Devin and 5-year-old Damon, and cut her throat. Police arrived within 3 minutes of the 911 call. They discovered a window screen in the garage had been cut, which indicated a possible entry point for an intruder. A search of the house and grounds did not locate an intruder, having thus secured the site. Police permitted paramedics to attend the victims. Routier told the police that she had fallen asleep on a couch with her two boys while watching television, only to wake up later and discover an unknown man in her house. She stated that as she approached him, the man fled, dropping a knife in a utility room as he ran after picking up the knife and chasing him away. Routier says she realized that she and her children had been wounded and called 911. Police found it highly suspicious that Routier claimed she had only awoken after the attack that severely wounded her or her sons. I think she did it, y'all. I'm sorry. This story don't add up. I really think she did this because of the financial difficulties that her husband was going through. So by her staging his murder with her two sons, this would be like her starting over, which ain't no starting over when you murder your child or whatever in a situation. Like, this is just crazy. Anyways, Routier told police that the assailant escaped through the garage. Investigators said that the garage contained no blood drops and added that indications were that no one had run through there at all. The window seals in the garage had untouched layers of dust, including a window that had been cut, implying that no one had actually climbed through it. And the mulch and the flower beds between the garage and the backyard gate was undisturbed. However, a fingerprint was found on the window sill, which was determined in 2002 not to belong to anyone in the family. Fingerprint expert Pat, one of them, would later testify before an appeals court that he could not rule out Darlie Routier's right ring finger as the source of the print. A bloody sock was discovered 75 yards away from the house. Lab tests revealed it had blood from both of Routier's sons on it. It also matched other socks from Routier house which belonged to Darlie. Both Damon and Devon sustained fatal injuries. Her wound, described as superficial, came within 2 millimeters of her carotid artery. Sorry if I pronounced that wrong. Routier was treated at a hospital and released 2 days later. Her youngest son, 7-month-old Drake, was asleep upstairs with their husband Dan at the time of the murders. Both escaped harm. Newscasts show Routier had other family members holding their birthday party at the boy's grave to celebrate Devon's 7th birthday. 8 days after the murders, she was shown smiling and laughing as she sprays silly strings on the graves in celebration, singing happy birthday. Family members point out that the newscast did not show an earlier video that depicted a solemn ceremony honoring the children. 4 days later, on June 18, Routier was arrested and charged with capital murder. Routier later commented on the video saying he wanted to be 7. I did the only thing I knew to do to honor him and give him all his wish because he wasn't there anymore. But how do you know what you're going to do when you lose 2 children? How do you know how you're going to act? The prosecution also suggested there was a financial motive for the murders, since both boys had a life insurance policy on them. The defense contended that this amounts to only $10,000, not enough to cover their funeral expenses. Furthermore, they asked why, if she was willing to murder for money, she did not kill her husband instead, as he had an $800,000 life insurance policy. The defense also questioned why, if she killed her sons to preserve her lavish lifestyle, she left her youngest son, 7-month-old Drake, alive and unharmed. Routier was represented at trial by lawyer Douglas Mulder. Defense attorney said there was no reason why she would have killed her children and that the case did not have a motive, a confession, or any witnesses. They asserted that it was unrealistic to accuse Routier of staging a crime scene. Her attorneys advised her not to appear on a witness stand, but she testified anyway, and with the under cross-examination by prosecutor Toby Shook, San Antonio Chief Medical Examiner Vincent Diamaio testified that the wound to Routier's neck came within 2 millimeters of her carotid artery. Sorry if I pronounced that wrong, and that it was not consistent with the self-inflicted wounds he had seen in the past that differed from the assertions of her treating physicians, who had told police officials that the wounds might have been self-inflicted. Tom Bevel testified that cast-off blood found on the back of Routier's nightshirt indicated that she had raised the knife over her head as she withdrew it from each boy to stab again. One crucial aspect of the defense case was the bloody sock found outside the house, while the police contended that this was merely a ruse designed to falsely implicate an intruder had fled the scene. The defense contended that it proved Routier could not have committed the crime. Damon was alive when the paramedics arrived on the scene, and medical examiner testified that the boy could only have survived approximately 8 minutes after surviving his injuries. Routier was on the phone with 911 for almost 6 minutes. The defense argued that this did not leave enough time for Routier to cut herself, stage the crime scene, plant the sock outside the house, and then return before the paramedics arrived. They also stated that, despite her injury, Routier's blood was not found in the garage or anywhere outside the home. The prosecution countered that Routier could have planted the sock before self-inflicted her own injuries, and a medical examiner stated survival time for Damon after he was stabbed was only an estimation. On February 1st, Routier was convicted of murdering Damon on February